Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be reviewing Nerd Bubblegum's 5x5 barrel. This is Nerd Bubblegum's 5x5 barrel modification. If you haven't heard of Nerd Bubblegum, he's a YouTuber and puzzle modder who sent me this cube to review. His channel's really cool and I strongly recommend you check it out, link in the description. Anyway, back to the puzzle. It's pretty much a standard Shengqiao 5x5, but modded into a perfect cylinder and then stickered with this 10-color scheme. Because of this, it's solved the same way as a 5x5, but you do need to worry about center orientation, as well as some possible parodies, which I'll get into later. You can purchase this puzzle at his Etsy shop for 104.62 Australian dollars, which converts to approximately 77.07 US dollars, although these prices and conversions are subject to change in the future. Mine came packaged extremely well with this nice drawstring bag. The fact that it made it all the way from Australia to the northern US in one piece shows that he was really careful with his packaging. Before I get into the performance of this puzzle, I'd like to note once again how well it's made. I haven't been able to find any imperfections in the shape at all. It's pretty much perfect. The only nitpicky thing I could say about the craftsmanship is that some of the stickers aren't cut perfectly, but that doesn't really affect the puzzle itself. Also, this doesn't really matter for anybody who will be buying the puzzle in the future, as now he's getting his stickers cut professionally by Oliver's Stickers. Anyway, this puzzle turns decently. It's pretty much what you'd expect from a Shengqiao 5x5, to be honest. Its speed is alright, and forwards corner cutting is decent at best. It does greatly lack reverse corner cutting, but since this puzzle isn't really for speed solving, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Back to the turning, it does feel slightly slower than I would expect, which is probably because of its tensions. It feels relatively tight, but I don't think it could get much looser without becoming unstable and popping. Speaking of popping, I have had it happen to me 2 or 3 times, but the pops are usually minor and only include 1 to 4 pieces, which are very easy to get back in. So the turning on this 5x5 barrel is okay, although I would like to see Nerd Bubblegum try making one of these out of a Yushin 5x5 or maybe a Moyu Bochuang in the future, but I'm not really sure if that would rack up the price too much. This puzzle is also extremely fun to solve and even just to turn mindlessly, and I do find myself picking it up once in a while for a nice solve. It has just enough challenge that it was slightly difficult the first time around, but not too difficult if you can already solve a 5x5. Speaking of which, it's time to discuss the solving process, so if you don't want any spoilers, you can skip ahead to the time on screen. Okay, we good? Cool. So, I used the reduction method for this puzzle, and I solve centers first, saving the white and yellow for last. The reason I do this is because these pieces are flat, and so their particular permutations don't matter. It makes the solve a lot easier, because otherwise you'd have to use a bunch of annoying algorithms for swapping individual center pieces, which I won't get into now. Then I put together the edges, which aren't too bad, and the great thing about the 10-color 5x5 barrel is that you don't need to know or use any special parity algorithms. If you end up with one flipped edge, there is a way to fix it without using the long and annoying parity algorithm. There can still be some weird parities in the 3x3 stage if you insert these edges in the wrong order, but I'll leave those 2 parity solutions for you to discover. Overall, despite its excellent build quality and fair turning style, I find it difficult to recommend Nerd Bubblegum's 5x5 barrel mod, mainly because of its high price. It is an extremely fun puzzle to solve though, so if you're interested in well-made non-WCA puzzles and don't mind spending some money, it is a pretty nice thing to have. There are some places where it could be worked on a little more, namely some of the stickering and the turning quality, but overall I'd consider it an awesome puzzle. There is also the option of building one on your own if you prefer, and that's what I'd recommend if you really want this puzzle but don't quite have the money for Nerd Bubblegums. Keep in mind though, this does seem to be a relatively advanced mod, so it might not come out this great on your first try. Big thanks to Nerd Bubblegum for sending me this puzzle to review. I'll leave a link to his channel and a link to buy the 5x5 barrel in the description below. He makes really great videos and puzzles, so I'd strongly recommend checking him out. So yep, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.